Thank you and welcome back to Race Industry Week 2023. Joe Castillo is with us. We're going to dive back into NHRA drag racing, and we should have with us any second somebody who just won a big championship, right?
Oh yeah, this is great. Judy referenced it. People who have followed the National Hot Rod Association and the sport of drag racing for a considerable amount of time know the name Kalitta, Connie Kalitta, Scott Kalitta, and Doug Kalitta. Doug has been chasing a championship for a quarter of a century and had finished second place 6 times over the years, and had always been the racer that, if people had to say who was the greatest racer who had not won a championship, that's something that Mark Martin carried around for a long time and others. Doug was that guy. No more. Doug Kalitta got the championship done this year in the most dramatic of ways, made it to the final round of the final race, winner take all in the final round against Tony Stewart's wife, Leah Pruitt Stewart, in the most dramatic motorsports moment I think I've ever personally been a part of. And Doug won it. And now Doug is a world champion of drag racing, and he will be forever. It was one of the most emotional moments that I had witnessed.
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I just needed those 4 or 5 seconds to be done and over with.
Yeah. And the way they did it with authority, right? A mic drop moment, winning 3 of the 6 race playoff, and having a great reaction time and a great low ET of the event in the final round. And now Doug is forever a champion. It's just so exciting for the sport of drag racing, so exciting for the Kalitta family, which is not just, the actual family, but the Kalitta Motorsports family extends far beyond just the people in the family to people who have worked with and worked on, not to mention the Kalitta Air. Everybody around the world working for them, they share in the championship. So it's going to be very exciting to speak with Doug here in a few moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
What surprises me, he came from open wheel grassroots racing.
Well, you said, Tony mentioned it yesterday, and that is the issue that not to get on a soapbox, but I have a second or two. I mentioned it with Tony Stewart yesterday, and he agreed. For reasons unknown, the people who drag race don't quite get the driver chops respect as some of these other series, and I understand there are different principles, but Doug Kalitta and Tony Stewart battled for a USAC championship back-to-back years, 94 and 95. They raced each other, and Doug then went drag racing, as many do. Ron Capps, our funny car champion from a year ago, he jumped into an SRX car with Tony this year, led laps, battled people. This is not something he does all the time. Imagine if he had chosen to go down that career road. They love drag racing for the passion, and it's great that we get to speak with Doug.
Doug is with us.
Thank you for joining us, Doug.
Right. Excellent. Hey, Doug, Joe here. Good to see you once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit of a scramble, last minute scramble to figure out how to get connected here. I was kind of tied up here, but yeah, thanks for having me on.
Okay, so you were on my WFO radio podcast live stream a week ago. That was for a drag racing specific audience. Now we have a worldwide motorsports industry audience on the EPARTRADE.com Industry Week. Sports cars, rally cars, Formula One, TC 2000 in South America, and drag racing is just a big part of that. But I believe your story is so huge that it should be written about and talked about. But we were just speaking with Francisque and Judy. We spoke with Tony Stewart yesterday about the 94-95 USAC battles between the two of you. Before we get into the meat of the matter of your drag racing championship, what do you recall from those battles with Smoke back then when you were still turning left on dirt?
Yeah, no, he was always a tough competitor out there for sure. But yeah, that's kind of where we grew up, trying to figure out how to drive cars. It was, it was back in the day. We both had great equipment. So we were normally running up front battling for the win. So that's probably the biggest thing was just trying to beat that guy. It was tough, but no, it was a lot of fun for sure.
Those on tracks, intense moments that, and I was just on my soapbox a moment ago because I just want more people to understand how much goes into being successful in drag racing. And you're a perfect example of someone who came from dirt racing, circle racing. Your family were drag racers, and so you got pulled into the sport of drag racing through gravity, if you will. But what's similar? Talk about the mental side, for instance.
Yeah, back in the day when Connie and Scott were both driving, I worked on the car for about 8 years, and it was like, I don't think a seat is going to open up over here at this drag racing side. So I ended up with an opportunity through a guy that was working for Connie, and he was always he ended up with Rich Vogler. I always remember him and Rich Vogler would always seem to get in a wreck, and Don would get the worst of it. So he would bring that thing back to the garage, and I was through high school, I was fabricating and welding and doing all that stuff. So I'd spend hours helping him beat this thing back together, and that's kind of how the opportunity came along. After spending God knows how many hours trying to help him, he's went to Connie and said, "Hey, we should give this guy an opportunity to drive one of his midgets." And Don was a hell of a fabricator. But you know, so that's kind of how the whole opportunity started for me. And then really with my cousin retiring and a seat opening up, I had Ed Ace McCullough as my crew chief when I first started, and a really good team. So that was a hell of an opportunity. But I have to admit, the first time I drove that thing, because I ran an alcohol car for it was a Frank Holly program. I ran it for about a day, I think, and then we switched over to the Top Fuel car, and it's just one of those deals. You're not sure what to expect in comparison, but fortunately with running the sprint cars and the midgets and sliding around and doing all that stuff and those things, I kind of figured it out rather pretty quickly. But no, it's been a hell of an opportunity that I've gotten from Connie over the years. Really doing both because he supported Don back in the day with the midgets, so I kind of rolled right into that deal. But yeah, it was super cool this year having Connie there at the banquet, and and Sunday, and just all the fans, and it was a special moment for sure to have a part of the whole Sunday and the banquet. And obviously he's had a number of different guys win the championship over the years, so that was really cool to become part of that group.
And that is, I believe, you're talking about getting an opportunity. And not a lot of people talk about the time that you were working on the bottom end of their cars. It's a tough job. Like, you worked your way up. Robert Height was on yesterday talking about working his way up from a crew member. And I don't want to say drag racing is the only motorsport where that is possible. It's certainly not, but it happens on a pretty regular basis. Many of our stars, Ron Capps, Robert Height, yourself, did the tough jobs, but then you get the opportunity and you wanted to deliver. But how did that, being a crew member, turning wrenches, diving under that thing while it's hot, getting covered in oil, how did that help form you as a driver, as a racer?
Yeah, the one thing about drag racing, is even sprint car stuff too. I mean, sometimes you just have to get it done. It's not going to be perfect. You just got a limited amount of time. Just make it safe, and get the thing either on the track or back up to the starting line. But yeah, just mechanically, just working with your hands. It's a good trait, and it's I've got my son now working on the car, and he's figuring things out pretty well, and he's super coordinated. He was a soccer player, and he's done that his whole life. So it's been kind of fun to have him working on my car, and he's starting to learn how to fly now. So get him kind of going with that stuff, and but yeah, it was growing up with Connie. We he's always been a fix it, figure it out kind of guy. Even with the technology of the Top Fuel cars and figuring out how to fix the weakest link is kind of what drag racing seems to be all about, with particularly the engine, and just trying to figure out how to make more power and keep the engine to where it would live going down the track. So and the same thing with just building a lot of the stuff on the car. So that was back in the day something I was spent a lot of time building the ideas that Connie would come up with on things that he wanted to improve on with the car. So fortunately, my dad he had a welding supply business. Him and Connie were brothers. So my dad we had all his welding machines, and he would sell all this stuff. We had a shop that we would fix all kinds of mostly he was into motorcycle racing, so we were usually fixing and building stuff that had just two wheels on it. So um, but I think I probably got off the subject here of what the question was. So
That's a very John Force. See, the guy wins a championship and he's turning into John Force already. Hey, David Morton is out there in the chat section, says everyone at Fifth Third Bank is super proud of you, and they're proud of their partnership with Kalitta Motorsports. And that has to be the ultimate prize, is the adoration and just the congratulations from all of these people who have supported you over the years and are part of the team, helping fund the team, and making this actually happen. What has that been like for you? David is out there, but there's has to be plenty more.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that that I was so happy to be able to pull this off for, was all the people that have supported me and continue to support me. It was an overwhelming yeah, it was just kind of overwhelming with everybody. And obviously the Fifth Third Bank folks have been a big part of our team and our business with the airline stuff. So yeah, they're great partners, and certainly appreciate them, and really everybody else that has supported me and gotten me to this point here. So, but no, the banquet was super cool. It was just really overwhelming, the support that I got from all my competitors and the folks that I've been racing against. They finally, no, it was nice to be able to pull it off for everybody that has had my back over the years.
On that note, in this, was it a little weird? Did you understand how everyone looked at you within the sport? Like, did that, prior to the moments, and for those out there at the NHRA Awards banquet, and you can go online and watch this on NHRA's YouTube channel, Doug got multiple standing ovations from everyone in the sport. I would liken it to a Dale Earnhardt Daytona 500 kind of moment, where everybody acknowledged that this was something that was well-deserved, well-earned, and they just wanted to show Doug how much they appreciated him being the person to receive that moment. Doug, did you understand that's how everybody thought of you?
No, I was just relieved, and I still am relieved that yeah, we're obviously we're all out there competing against one another, hoping their cars don't start and whatever else happens. But no, it was I've been out there for, I always say it's 22 years, this and that, but 26 years. I was actually reminded that it was that many years, and then being second 6 times, so it was one of those moments that just you get the win light, and it's just a huge huge relief really for me, and my family particularly, because they've been putting up with me for all these years trying to accomplish this goal. So but yeah, couldn't have done it without them for sure. And yeah, no, it was a proud moment.
So let's talk about that moment for the people around the world, fans of rally, Formula One, stock cars, just everything, that they all have their dream scenario. and maybe you're going into the final, flag is out, and you're in second place and you got to make a pass. Like, everybody has their own moment. For Doug, it was the final round of the final race against his closest competitor, and whoever won would be the world champion. You knew that going to the starting line. You had one of the best that there's ever been, Alan Johnson, as your tuner. He was brought on by Connie for this moment. You'd finished second 6 times in your career, winner take all final. Take everybody into that moment as you prepared to make that run.
Yeah, definitely. With the way our NHRA point system is, that was, it played out perfectly for, to build the excitement of of how that point system is designed. And that's certainly what happened. But really, just, I was pretty confident, obviously, it was a big moment, but I was actually felt as comfortable as I was, pretty much throughout the day. So, just needed to go up there, rely on my guys. And like you say, I've got the best team, Alan Johnson, Brian Houston, all these guys that, been racing against forever and competing against, finally in my corner. And but no, it was a proud moment for sure to be able to pull off the win with those with my guys. And it really, we had been kind of struggling for the last early part of the season, and kind of got hot right there at the end. So yeah, getting the 3 wins at the last 6 races, we were building confidence as the year was, as the season was finishing. And yeah, it was really a thing of beauty for me and my team to be able to pull it off.
Emily out there, world-class act. You could feel the energy all weekend long. Well-deserved. Certainly a great moment, motorsport history, but not without struggle. You mentioned struggle in the countdown. In the first race of the playoff system, you guys, had a tire go down right in the lights. You controlled the car in a very difficult situation. And, we don't even talk about that, right? Like, the fact that you were able to bring that thing to a safe stop and get out. A lesser driver might not have been able to keep it together, but you did. You rolled out a backup car and won the race. And that's really where the energy changed. That moment had to be the potential to be demoralizing. Like, oh my gosh, here we are in the playoffs, and we just lost our primary car.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for sure. And that was pretty lucky on my part, really, with just how it all played out with, I had to shoot. I usually get one shootout a little earlier than the second one. And yeah, it was, felt real fortunate, because usually when you have a tire issue, it just doesn't normally end well. And especially right there in the lights. But yeah, so we got back to the trailer, we looked at the car, and it was a moment that you weren't sure, what we were going to have going forward with our other car that we hadn't run all year. And we pulled that thing out of the trailer, and it was Helen and the guys. They, it was a happy car, I guess you could say, because it responded well to the tune-up that we had put in it. And yeah, so it was kind of interesting throughout the last few races, everybody talking about the canopy car and this and that, and leaving it in the trailer. But I have to admit, the one thing about that canopy car, it was almost like a Cadillac. That thing was quieter. It would just being inside the thing was kind of interesting. But as far as I'm concerned, really whatever works for my guys. And it'll be interesting to see what they come up with for next year, and what we're going to start the year with, either a canopy car or not.
So that's open. You're not demanding one or the other. You're open to either. And a lot of speculation on that. People have said you'll never drive a canopy car ever again, but you sound open to it.
Yeah, I'm usually, I wheel in there couple hours before qualifying starts on Fridays, and they don't, as far as making changes on the tune-up and all that stuff. I just show up and drive that thing. So I'm fortunate in that respect because obviously if I had to get in there and work on the thing, but they've really by design just to keep everything nice and organized. Everybody has a job, so but yeah, whatever they really feel works the best for Alan and Brian. It's kind of what I'm down with.
Alan Johnson, Brian Hewson doing a great job. So, Doug, look ahead. Is this the end of a chapter or is this the end of a story? You guys didn't bring over Alan and Brian, and I know they didn't sort through all of everything to get it to the way that they liked to win only one, 3 races and 1 championship together. Do you feel like this is the beginning of a run? I know you can't predict your performance, but winning the 3 of the last 6, we get going again with the Mission Foods Drag Racing Series in March at the Gator Nationals, and you're the champ.
Yeah. So, no, it'll be good. We'll see what we come out of the gate with here. We're going to have a ton of momentum. A little more skipping our step here. So, we've obviously got the resources behind us. So, Connie and we're going to start the year with the 2 dragsters again in the funny car, and the goal is to get all 3 of those cars running up front, at all the races. So, but that's my hope is we're going to keep that thing running strong and just running towards the front. You know how tough our field is in the class, so you really have to be one step ahead of everybody to get these wins. They don't come easy. I can tell you that. And just I'll be looking forward to it. That's for sure. Probably along with yourself. So love drag racing, and we plan on having hopefully another great year next year.
On that note, and we're winding down here, a couple more minutes. Just the outlook on the sport in general. You mentioned Top Fuel, the kings of the sport, the quickest accelerating machines on earth, never having been more challenging and competitive. Mission Foods coming in to sponsor the sport in 2024 and beyond. There's a lot of really positive news and energy around drag racing. You've been around a long time. Just kind of summarize it all.
Yeah, no, we're gonna, I think, be probably 20 or 21 events next year. So as long as we keep our car counts up, that's really the main goal with really all of the classes. And I think the direction that the NHRA is going, supporting, just trying to increase all of what they do to support the teams, I think is going in a good direction. So, but that's really what we need is, just keep our car counts up, and, the competition, it's going to be tough, right? So, but, really the facilities that we're running at, the power of these cars, it's, and the fact that the older you get, the more people you come across with that, it always seems like with drag racing, people with short attention spans are like myself. It's a great sport for that. So you don't have to sit there and watch it for 4 hours or whatever, 3 hours to to see what's going on. So or catch your favorite guy. So it's a little different in that respect. 3.7 seconds or whatever, and the race is over. And so I think there's a certain audience out there that really enjoys that, and we've got a great following, with our sport, and yeah, no, I'm excited, and I think the NHRA and what they got going on is good. So we're looking forward to getting back out there.
Well, Doug, I appreciate it. This has been, it's history. It's drag racing history. Connie made his, Scott made his, and now you have made yours as a Top Fuel world champion, but I'm really excited to see what you do with it as you go into 2024 and beyond. And I see Francisca and Judy are on. Judy said she couldn't breathe for the whole final round, that she was unable to. And I felt that too. It was amazing. It was drag racing history, and you lived it. And congratulations.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate all the support. And thanks for having me on today.
So excited. And thank you for joining us this year, Doug. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You
guys are doing a great job. I was watching it a little bit yesterday with what you have going on, and it looks like a heck of an effort you put together with all of what you're doing.
Thank you. Doug, out of a pandemic, we just created this, and it just keeps getting better every single year. So thank you for
doing a great job. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Parts and connect with suppliers. Choose race team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address, and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPARTRADE.